let's look at the programming, and we're going to look into the profiles and functions that come standard and pre-programmed within LiNX electronics. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to plug your LAC in to the front charging port on either the front of the joystick or the display. So where you normally charge it, you're going to plug a LAC into it, which is a LiNX access key. And you're going to open your app on your phone called LiNX Access. And if you're unfamiliar or not sure how to do that and how to connect your LAC, there's a video called Connecting Your LAC, and it's also on the orientation of the programming screen in general, so you get familiar with that. But that's the first step. Plug this in, get your LiNX Access, and we'll go on with that. I've just opened my LiNX Access app on my iPad, and this is the screen that you see when you first open it up. Gives you some information at the top about whether or not there's any errors on the chair, errors related to programming. Could be with the way things are plugged in. It could be whether or not the chair's out of gear, things like that. Live diagnostics and system summary are also line items under that. We'll talk about that in another video. What I want to talk about today is profiles and functions. So I'm going to scroll up here, and I'm going to put that blue, kind of a blue-gray bar, says functions in the middle at the top of the screen, and to the right you see the word edit. We're going to use that bar when we need to go in and out of editing to make changes to the list of profiles and functions that I'm going to go over here in a minute. So we're going to come back to that in a second, but that's where you go into editing, is you tap that word edit and it brings up another window, which you'll see. What I want you to get oriented to a little bit is what's a profile when you're looking here at the screen, and what are functions. So profiles have a blue background, and listed below them are the functions contained within that profile. So you see a drive REM2XX in blue, that's the name of the profile. And below that, contained within it, are the list of 3 functions: indoor, outdoor, and fast. Profile seating REM2XX, and contained is the list of functions that are all seat functions: tilt, recline, elevate legs, recline legs. There's a drive REM110, a drive 400. That is what we're going to use today. We're going to work in this REM 400 area. We have a REM 400 joystick on this chair, which is our color display with touch screen. A REM 110 is a different kind of joystick. A REM 2XX is another joystick, as an LCD joystick that have some different numbers: 210, 211, 215, 216, things like that. We're not using those, but they're always in the programming in case you get a chair that has a REM 200 of some kind on it. So we leave them alone and we just kind of ignore them in the programming. They don't show up in the screen on the display for the patient, but they're in here in case we need to do something with them. So we leave those alone, okay? There's your REM 400. There's your seating REM 400. There's a connectivity profile, and contained in that is a mouse. That's mouse access to a computer through the joystick. So you would use that joystick and move the mouse around on the screen. There's also an ASL profile pre-programmed in here. And you'll see on the right-hand side it says TPI. Now notice if I scroll up here, the others all said REM 4XX. Right? That's telling you that those functions are all going to be managed or controlled through the REM 400. If I come down here to ASL, it's going to be controlled through something that whatever we plug into that TPI port. It's a port on the chair. It stands for third-party interface. And then sip and puff will be controlled through whatever is in the sip and puff or the input module, the IN5XX. And there's also a attendant control profile down here and the list of functions within that. If you need to change speeds for the attendant or for whoever's driving it, you do it in this profile and functions. Okay, I'm going to scroll up here and I'm going to put it into edit mode. So I got to go back up to that blue line. Excuse me. And I'm going to go over to the right-hand side, and I'm going to touch that word edit. And up pops a little screen that kind of floats above it, and it is basically a repeat of everything below it. So, again, we're not going to delete that first function in Drive REM 200, the indoor, and we won't ever delete tilt, but the other ones we can delete. We can move out of there. And so the first thing I want to show you is how to delete something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the Drive REM 400 profile, and then you see again the list of indoor, outdoor, fast, ramps and curbs, and seating. To the left of all of those are little red dots. So if I want to get rid of that seating card that's in there, or that seating function, I can touch on it and delete it. Touch the word delete and it's gone. It's that simple to delete it. Takes no time at all, and it'll be gone. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get rid of that ramps and curbs. Those are all different. So what you have in this profile are 4 different speeds, and the ramps and curbs one is kind of in between some of those. And I'm going to say my patient's got plenty of speeds, and they don't want the ramps and curbs. Again, touch the red circle first. Delete slides open on the right hand side. Tap delete, and it's gone. I'm now went from 5 functions to 3 in a couple seconds. Okay, so that's how easy it is to delete. I can go through, and they all have red lines when you get into this editing mode, red circles, so you can delete any of that. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I am going to show you how to move something. So I took out the seating card of that driver M400 a minute ago, but my patient would like to have just tilt up there, because as they're driving up and down hills and inclines and declines, they need to be able to tilt to help them stay level. So I'm going to put tilt up there. So I'm going to look at that seating REM 400 and the tilt that's in there, and on the right hand side are 3 little gray lines. I'm going to put my finger and hold there for a second. It becomes a little bit 3-dimensional, if you will. Don't let go of it, and just drag it up and drop it in there. And it is now, I have a tilt card in the driver M400 profile. That's simple. So I can really customize these profiles to match whatever the patient needs. In this case, my patient wants tilt available while they're driving, but they don't need recline and elevate legs, so we don't put that in there. All right, they just have tilt. So when I look down here, I said, oh, well, but now I don't have tilt in seating. And when they're in their house and they go into their seating profile and they want to just have all seating available, I don't have tilt. I moved it. So how do I get tilt down there? Also, I can do what's called duplicate a card. Right? So if I tap on tilt, I'm going to tap kind of in the middle of the function, in between the word tilt and where it says REM4X. I'm just going to tap it, and you get a little blue bar that shows up, and it says duplicate. So I'm going to touch duplicate, and now I have 2 of those cards. Right? They're in the REM400, but I've got 2 of them. They're exactly the same. They're programmed the same. They're, it's literally like a copy and paste kind of situation. Okay, so now I need to move one of them back down into seating. So grab those 3 lines on the right hand side, hold it for a minute till it's 3-dimensional, drag it down, and let go of it. Now it landed below recline. I'd like it at the top, so I didn't quite get it where I wanted. Grab it again, slide it up, and let go. And now I've got tilt in both places. Could I have duplicated it from seating and moved it up? Sure. It doesn't matter what order you do any of it, but that's how you move. That's how you duplicate. That's how you delete different cards. Okay? Next, I want to show you how to make a card from scratch. So the first thing I want to tell you is you may have noticed that we have some different types of cards. We have cards or functions in here. Some drive, some do seat functions, and if I come down here to this connectivity, some do computer, connection cards, Bluetooth kinds of connectivity. All right, and then there's another one. If I go down here to ASL, there's a lights card at the very bottom. Okay, so that would turn the lights on and off on the chair. That's a utility card. So we're going to make a new card. I'm going to make a recline seating card. Okay, I'm going to put a recline seating card up here in driver M400 because my patient, when he's driving and he's getting into his van, needs to also recline a little bit too, so he can get through the van door on the side. So he's got to recline a little bit. So we're going to do that. Now, there's a gray bar under every profile that says add function. So you'll see at the bottom, on below the last function, a gray bar that says add function. There's one there. There's one in connectivity. I can add a function to the connectivity profile. I can add a function to the ASL profile. Okay, on and on. So I'm going to put a recline. I want my patient to be able to recline in the REM 400. Could I duplicate it? Sure, but I want to show you how to make a card from scratch, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to add a function in the REM 400. It means I hit the green plus, and I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it recline. And then I'm going to come down here and it says, please select function type. And it's asking you, what kind of card is this going to be? Is it a driving card? No, it's not. It's a seating card. But you see there's 5: driving, seating, mouse mover, that's that mouse card, utility, that was the lights in ASL, and switch control. If you want to use an iPhone with any of this, it's switch control. There's no mouse in it, right? So you have to have a switch control card. In this case, we're making a recline card, so I'm going to choose seating. You get a little check mark by it. And I'm going to tell it to follow the profile. If I come down here a little bit lower where it says please select user input, follow profile. That means it will be run with the REM 400. But you can see that I could tell it to follow, to use anything. Okay, I don't have to, but in this case, in the most cases, you will follow the profile. There's a done, a little word done up at the top of the screen on the right. I'm going to tap that. And I now have a recline card in my Drive REM 400. Okay, so now I've got tilt and recline both. All right. I'm going to show you how to make a phone card. I'm going to add that to the connectivity profile. So I'm going to scroll up, find the connectivity profile, tap the green button, name it. I'm touching the word name, and I'm going to call it phone. What kind of card is it? It's a switch control card because I have an iPhone. Put a check mark by switch control, tell it to follow the profile, which it's already by default set up that way. Go to the top of that window, hit the word done on the right, and now in connectivity I have mouse and phone. Okay, I have both of those in there. All right, so now we have moved them around, we've duplicated them, we've deleted them, and we've made 2 new cards. We've made them. Now we say done. There's a little turquoise kind of bar at the very top. It says done on the right. I tap it. And if I scroll down here, back to that screen, you see there's tilt and recline added into Drive REM 400. We put tilt back in that seating profile because we stole it. And under connectivity, there's also now a new card called phone. All right. So what I want to do is show you recline because you get back here and we have to tell this card what we want it to do. So we tap on that and you see forward and reverse as an input mode. That means I'm going to push it forward or push it reverse to activate recline. If I tap that little drop down, I can have it be left and right. I could have it be 4 quadrant, meaning I have all 4 directions and I can pick. I'm going to have it be left and right because it's recline, and that way if they tilt back, then they only have to go left and right. We don't have to fight gravity to come up. It's named recline. And we have to come down here and say under axis, what motion? You see where it says no motion. We have to tell it. Tell it to be recline. And then the operating mode, we are going to have it be proportional because it's done with a joystick. All right, and that's all I have to do. I'm going to go up to the upper left. There's a little turquoise back arrow. I'm going to go hit that. I don't think it's in your screen. And that's what I have to do there. Now, there's something else that you can do or not do. So in the case of this setup here, this connectivity profile, if I tap on it, you see the profile name connectivity, and below that it says enable profile no. That means the profile is in the programming, but it's not enabled, meaning it's not going to show up on the display. So if I want to use that profile, I've got to tap where it says no. Say I'm tapping it, no, yes, no, it just shifts, right? So I need to say yes, and then it will show up in the list for the patient to see. You and I can see it in the programming, but the patient on the joystick won't see it unless it's enabled. Okay, so there's that. You can also rename it. I'm going to tap on that again. You can also rename your profile name. It could just say, tech stuff. It could say whatever. You just tap on the word, change it out. I'm going to capitalize it and call it technology. So if you want to name things so that it's clear what's contained in those profiles, go in, change those names. Again, tap the back button, and now I'm going to tap it one more time. And now that connectivity has changed to technology. Okay? Now, that's kind of all there is to it. You have created a card, we've deleted, we've duplicated, we've moved things. We've done all this work in here, and now it's just how we want it with the patient. What we have to do, down at the very bottom, you see, again, there's a lot of blue, another blue line. It says read and write. You have to write this to the chair, meaning you've got to send it and tell the chair to now look like this. So we're going to tap write, and then I'm going to come back and show you the programming screen plus the display so that you can see what it looks like for the patient. Okay, so I'm going to tap write, and it will start working, and I will be back with the next, the look of what the display looks like once it's connected. So here you see the display that the patient will see based on how we've programmed the chair. And we've moved these functions and cards around to represent the way the patient would like to have the chair organized. So on the programmer, you see the driver M400 profile, and you see the list of cards in there: indoor, outdoor, fast, tilt, and recline. Indoor has a blue line on it next to on the left side, a blue vertical line. That tells you, as you're looking at the programmer, that the chair is in that indoor function. Now, if I come in and swipe horizontally, I am going to change functions to the outdoor card, or the outdoor function, and you'll see on the programmer that blue vertical line is changed to outdoor. If I swipe horizontally again, I move into fast. Swipe horizontally again, there's that tilt card. I want you to notice that the tilt is orange. Swipe again, recline is orange. Your seating cards are orange, your driving cards are green, and your utility or your connectivity cards, those technology cards that we have in there, are blue, and I'll show you those in a minute. So I keep going, and I'm back around. So this is a matter of just swiping. I can go in a circle. I can swipe in either direction. Doesn't matter. Okay, this is a touch screen either way. Okay, now if I want to change profiles and I want to get down to the seating profile, how do I do that? I swipe vertically, up and down. So now you see I'm in seating, and there's that tilt. And notice on the programmer, vertical blue tilt bar or line next to it. I'm going to slide it up a little bit. Again, horizontal. There's recline. Elevate. I can also change functions by tapping this little, there's a little button here with two lines on it. There's legs, recline and legs. I just keep tapping, keep pressing, and I go in a circle, right? If I want to change the profile to that technology profile, again, swipe up, or I can touch the button on the left side, and there's that technology profile. And again, look at your programmer and notice blue vertical line next to mouse. It's a blue card, that's a technology card, that's a connectivity card. So there's your mouse. If I swipe, there's my phone. So those cards are connected there. Again, if you need the phone up in the driving one because your patient wants the phone up there, you know how to move it. If you need it in both places, you can duplicate it and put it up there. You can put it in every profile, doesn't matter. You can move them around and customize these to be exactly what your patient would like. We've moved functions and deleted functions and duplicated functions, and we've even made new functions. This is the core of programming profiles and functions in LiNX. Your ability to make your profiles contain whatever your patient might need is the feature that can make the difference between independence and not, or successful driving if you're a child and not. As your diagnosis progresses, your profiles can contain only the things that you need to use in a situation. We can think about programming in a completely new way. Think of contexts like the office or home or school or the playground. You don't have to think about just indoor and outdoor or slow and fast anymore. If I don't need access to my work computer when I'm home, I don't have to have it in that profile, and I don't have to have it in my list to cycle through. We're not confined to those rules about what has to be in each profile. With LiNX, you and your patient decide what is needed, and then you create it for them and with them. In another video, we're going to discuss in more depth the advantages of having this type of flexibility and customization of the profiles and the functions. How can this personalization support your patients as they grow and gain more skills, but also as they progress and lose some function? And most importantly, how LiNX can support the transition from one set of skills or abilities to another. This changes everything for your patients.